The Orange County Commission votes to raise impact fees. The town of Windermere debates a pavilion project. Oakland celebrates its heritage. Ocoee is getting better cell service. And the city of Winter Garden confronts the balance of growth over preservation. The date is January 26th, 2023. We're going to go through these stories and more. Welcome to West Orange on the Go. My name is Austin Arthur, and this is where we do local news and comment. And when I say local news, I mean hyper-local. West Orange. This is your news. We begin in 10 seconds.
You're listening to West Orange on the Go. Brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.
The Orange County Board of County Commissioners approved at its Tuesday, January 10th meeting 3 ordinances designed to increase impact fees assessed on new development. The rates were raised for fire rescue services, law enforcement, and parks and recreation. Now, impact fees are one-time charges assessed on new development to help pay for public infrastructure required to accommodate the new development. All right, and in the town of Windermere, dozens of residents logged on to add their input to a proposed outdoor pavilion project planned for the downtown Windermere area. Now, the project is a partnership between the West Orange Healthcare District and the Rotary Club. The plan includes a pavilion complete with a stage, concession stand, and other amenities, with the goal of offering accommodations for more events in the future. Now, more than 80 town residents participated in this week's workshop, and their concerns and suggestions ran the gamut. Now, some even suggested to eliminate the project altogether. There is a full piece in this week's paper. You can read all the details there and get the sides, the different opinions of different folks for it, against it, asking for modifications. We will monitor the discussion because although the plan has already been approved, there will be more discussion and town workshops surrounding the details. Established in 1887, the town of Oakland is one of the oldest municipalities in Orange County and was once a major center of commerce with a thriving downtown that included an opera house and many businesses. Now, a devastating fire wiped out the downtown, but not the town's determination to forge on. Now, today, Oakland continues to grow with more than 3,500 residents and an increasing commercial presence on Oakland Avenue and West Colonial Drive. Oakland's town commissioners, officials, and residents will recognize that resolve to rebuild Saturday during the Oakland Heritage Day celebration. Now, that will take place in the town's historic downtown area. All right, let's go on to the city of Ocoee. Now, the commissioners there during their Tuesday, January 17th meeting approved the special exception to build what will soon be the Ocoee Oaks UMC Communications Tower. Now, the Ocoee commissioner in that district there, Ocoee Commissioner Rosemary Wilson, said that she has heard nothing but positive comments regarding the bell tower, and she is in strong support, and they did unanimously approve it. The communications tower will be 5G equipped and will offer room for 2 different carriers to offer communication services to residents in the area. So their cell phone service will soon be a lot better. All right, now if you want to read all of these great stories, I am telling you, the paper this week, it's always good, but this week it's just jammed packed. Lots of good stuff in there. So just go to orangeobserver.com. Now, I am very grateful to inform you that the sponsor of this program is Winter Garden and the Winter Garden Heritage and Music Festival. All right, so that is February 11th. You're going to hear me talk about it a lot. And so on a Saturday, it's going to run from, now get this, 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. Now, that's in their historic downtown area. Now, it was established in 1903 officially as a city. And you know what that means now. That is 120 years of greatness. Now, the Winter Garden Heritage and Music Festival will have 6 different stages of entertainment. It will be comprised of 30 bands, all kinds of wonderful heritage activities. Performers will be on the streets. I mean, it is a wonderful event. It's good for the whole family. I mean, bring the kids, don't bring the kids, bring the grandkids, don't, whatever you want, you're going to have a great time. Now, not only are they going to have all this great music and vendors, like I said, 30 bands, 6 stages, performers all walking across the street, wonderful stuff, but they're also going to have these guided history tours that you could check out. The heritage exhibits will be fully present, so you can learn about the history of Winter Garden. And I really just encourage you to mark your calendar to ensure that you are available. At least give it a couple hours of your time. You're going to end up wanting more. February 11th, that's a Saturday, in downtown Winter Garden. Get more information at downtownwg.com. That's downtownwg.com. All right, now in honor of our sponsor, I'm going to read a full piece regarding the downtown area this week. It was written by Annabelle Sykes. But before I get into that final page, I need to read to you some of this. Terry Westwood always wanted to serve his community as a police officer. But before he could fulfill that dream, he led a life of service and dedication in other ways. In the United States Navy, as an insurance agent, assisting people in planning for their future, and as a husband, father, and provider. When he reached his mid-40s, Terry Westwood made the decision to attend the police academy. 8 months later, he graduated and eventually landed an officer position with the Winter Garden Police Department. His career, however, lasted only 4 years. After a cancer diagnosis, Terry Westwood died December 29th, 2022. He was only 50 years old. A father and a husband in our community. In this week's paper, there is a full piece, a tribute to him, to this great man who led a life of service, put his life on the line for others in the Navy and as a police officer here in our community. I encourage you to check out the piece and listen to the words of his widow. She said, quote, "Make those memories and laugh. Laughter and love is the best combination." And our hearts and prayers go out to his family. Okay, we are going to dive into the final page. And as I mentioned, this will be a full piece written by Annabelle Sykes. She has been doing these wonderful pieces, really just an incredible asset, not just to the Orange Observer, but to our whole community. Our paper is important. It records our history and our travels through time. Okay. Initially settled in the 1850s, Winter Garden began to grow significantly after the arrival of the railroad in the 1880s. By the turn of the century, a small commercial district had emerged along Plant Street and residential neighborhoods began to appear. The historic development of the area spans out about from 1890, the date of the oldest remaining buildings, through 1945. With few exceptions, the historic buildings in Winter Garden date between 1950, over 100 years old, in 1940. In 2009, the City Commission created an Architectural Review and Historic Preservation Board, and to which I am a proud member. I am very proud to sit on that board, and I take it very seriously, the obligation of it. Now, that board was created to advise and make recommendations on new construction, demolitions, renovations, and upgrades of the buildings within the district. On January 11th, 2010, the City Commission adopted Ordinance 10-05, which established a historic downtown architectural overlay for the designated area in the city's historic downtown district. Now, the area is about 116 acres and includes 270 residential and commercial properties. Planning Director Kelly Carson of Winter Garden said, quote, "The city's historic district is the heart of the community. It contains some of the city's oldest, most treasured structures. The historic buildings tell the story of Winter Garden, helping us to understand the social, cultural, economic, and environmental transformations that have shaped the area." End quote. The historic fabric of Winter Garden remains largely intact. However, District 1 Commissioner of Winter Garden, Lisa Bennet, believes the city is coming to a turning point. She said, quote, "The city is coming to a point where our comprehensive plan is reaching our maximum growth. So we are looking overall at more of a redevelopment phase, not so much development." City Manager John Williams agreed that as a city, the area is reaching build-out. He said, quote, "Moving forward, we will be dealing more and more with redevelopment and infill development. Infill development needs to be respectful and compatible with the existing environment. We need to just make sure our codes accomplish that." Although Commissioner Bennet believes the city and staff have done a great job with allowing good development, the area is entering into a critical mass phase in which the city has to be careful to protect the area, as well as to allow change. Commissioner Lisa Bennet said, quote, "The only thing for sure in life is change. And as a city, if you don't, you are stagnant. What we've allowed to be developed, I think, has been good, specifically here in my district. Everybody wants to come here. That's great. But as commissioner, I'm elected to protect the people who currently live here." End quote. Now, at the City Commission meeting on Thursday, December 8th, 2022, Commissioner Bennet spoke of her district, which is in and around the downtown area, older homes being demolished and rebuilt, and how this is changing the character of the area. To preserve the character and protect the charm of the residential area surrounding downtown, she asked the city manager, John Williams, to revisit a draft ordinance establishing a downtown residential overlay district. She also suggested researching the existing code for modification, which would place a size restriction on the residential buildings within the downtown district. Now, Commissioner Bennet suggested when demolishing a single-story home should be rebuilt in its place. She also suggested incentives for saving, remodeling, or upgrading older homes, and possibly allowing additions within guidelines of the code. The city said maintaining balance is key. Planning Director Kelly Carson said, quote, "The city is tasked with finding a balance between respecting individual property rights while maintaining the small town charm that defines us. It is a delicate balancing act that involves close coordination with a number of stakeholders, including the community members, landowners, developers, elected officials, and other interested parties." End quote. As a Winter Garden native, Commissioner Bennet has watched the downtown area transform firsthand. She said, quote, "I know a lot of people who have lived in this area forever. I know how proud the citizens are in my district, and I know that they have Winter Garden's best interest at heart. They just want to preserve this way of life for their children and grandchildren." End quote. The idea of preservation is not uncommon among cities. Many have adopted similar ordinances which provide criteria for infill development and what a property owner can build on a property. As a real estate broker, Commissioner Bennet said she has watched several of the older homes in the area be bulldozed and the values of the properties shoot through the roof. Quote, District 1 is a little unique in that it's more individual investors that come here. Now, looking forward, Commissioner Bennet said that she would love for residents to attend city commission meetings. Now, this was a great piece by Annabelle Sykes highlighting this commissioner's initiatives, who is a friend, a great person, Lisa Bennet. And she is so right. Often what happens is we become so far removed from the actual motions of our government that we see something we don't like happening, but it's already too late. You need to be involved. Now, I understand that not every person could go to commission meetings and this sort of thing, but there are ways to stay in touch with what's going on. You read the paper, you check the agenda maybe if something is of interest to you, you find out what's going on, and you contact your local commissioners, whether that be in one of our great towns, Oakland, Windermere, the city of Ocoee, city of Winter Garden, or an unincorporated Orange County. For West Orange, such as a good example being Horizon West. So you would go to your Orange County commissioner. And when you start to pay a little bit of attention, you might find that your leaders need to hear your voice, whether that be to correct their path or to strengthen their resolve. We can't only speak to them when there's bad things. We have to encourage them when they're doing the right thing. I think that good leadership is the understanding of balancing. And in this case, and what we have a lot with the area of West Orange County, is balancing growth versus preservation. I am pro-growth, but I am also a preservationist. We have to be able, and we can, do both at the same time. But you cannot hyper-focus on just one. That is how you destroy communities. This has been Austin Arthur of the West Orange Times and Observer. And until next week, have a happy and blessed weekend.
West Orange on the Go is brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.